before we even start, I want to understand this. You guys have making a ratings trap, but you guys are just a few weeks before your biggest pay-per-view of the year next to WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. And before you have and after you have SummerSlam, you have Survivor Series. That kind of devalued over the years after that one good pay-per-view back in 2016 for Survivor Series when you let Goldberg and Lesnar a decent brand split Survivor Series. In a few matches I can get behind. But now it's late July. You guys barely have shown that you've grown much interest. You guys just made these number one contender matches off the bat without any storytelling or any development over the coming weeks. So you just wanted to make this ratings trap for just growing down people's nostalgia and wasting everybody's time. I am truly impressed in how WWE continues to waste most of our times and thinks the best thing to keep us contracted into watching your show is to bring back Stone Cold Steve Austin when half of the Devons, I'm not racist Hogan, Ric Flair, Batista Jump Me, the Hurricane, Eve Torres, and Caitlyn, and Candice Michelle that look blatantly more attractive than majority of the women's division other than Mandy Rose and Zelina Vega and Naomi and Alicia Fox. Isn't she a longtime woman wrestler? She barely even had a title shot or much of a gimmick other than that crazy bitch gimmick she started like a few years back and only gotten like one feud with Nia Jax. Whatever, they just developed over John Cena coming into the show. And it was supposed to be a feel good moment. Then the Usos came and be like, wait, we want the Doctor of fucking Nomics. And then they just awkwardly came out with Rikishi and they started dancing. They did a small little segment with just Cena awkwardly deeping up his voice and it's like, yo, look just like your mugshots. Plus one of the Usos got arrested again. Fucking retards. I don't know what happened to them. As soon as they turned a different gimmick, they started getting into more legal issues. And then the revival just came with Devon, even though he's a babyface. And Bubba couldn't come because he'd rather stay in the indie scene than stay up on Raw for 3 hours. Then, they just obviously, blatantly just needed somewhere to catch our attention. So we're just going to have Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan awkwardly cut into a segment. And Hogan's like screaming, like, Jimmy, you're a pick, brother. You're a pick. We all hate black people, so we need to stay away from them until the end of the show, where Steve Austin's really even gonna filter, say shit, and literally he said shit, and drink a beer, brother. And then Booker T just came in the commentary after Usos and Revival finished their match off a distraction. Came with the splash, and then that's it. Not even a dance. They just walked up their hands because Rikishi's older and fatter. And they just came up and cut into a segment with Drew McIntyre, just passing through all the legends like Shore, Santino Marella, and Alicia Fox are legends. Wow, that's truly depressing. Kelly's not even a legend. Not even a Hall of Fame candidate, even though she won the Divas title a few times. Oh, what's a diva? That's trigger warning. They even show Caitlyn with black hair in her side. Somehow I like that sometimes on females, but by God, it's like Caitlyn only been in WWE for like 2 years. Why are they putting her up now like she's a memorable figure? All because she feuded that one time with AJ Lee that barely got anywhere. So, yeah, if you watched Raw for that long, you would remember that. Then they just segmented it with Booker T coming on commentary. Then they had the segment involving like the Street Profits earlier in the night. Referencing that Dawkins was involved with most of the legends involving Mark Henry. That was just awkwardly there talking with Mick Foley for some apparent reason. And then just reference, like, trying to make snippets on fuck you, we get it. Rob Van Dam's in smoking weed. So that was a segment I just hated because they awkwardly just get the Street Profits there to try to hype up. Like, we got legends, there's a match, the show with legends, I'm gonna make fun of them. It's like, it's cool, they try to show this personality. I don't think they show that much on NXT, so I don't know why they're even on the main roster just to think that they get hyped. Like, they're good voices. These guys literally have the humor of Vine comedians rejects. And yet they continue to try to waste my time with the show. That's not good at all. Then we had the 24/7 championship over Drake Maverick, pinning R-Truth, chasing him down in a Comic-Con. I think that was the most hilarious part of the show. It's literally the 24/7 championship with Drake Maverick and R-Truth trading it around with Pat Patterson. Then it went over to Kelly, then to Joe Briscoe, just consistently just changing hands, and it would be cool if it was in the middle of the ring sometimes. Actually giving the fans something to enjoy. Like 24/7 championship, you can just be pinned by everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the fucking Hardcore title 2.0. I get it that they wanted to make it look different and feel like they're not rehashing going back to the past, so WWE felt like that desperate piece of shit, even though they're bringing back a football league that was only relevant for like week one, and then barely even caught on and got consistent ratings like it did for the first game, and then tried to struggle having a storyline and noticing that they don't know how a football team work, how a football league works. You can't even keep their players healthy, or don't even have a safe branch how to get new players. They can see NCAA is literally reliant on any other major sports league. Whatever. They had Cedric Alexander, and this is supposed to be a rematch from Drew McIntyre getting pinned off Cedric Alexander first time they fought back on Raw off a roll up pin. That was literally a decent match. And then Drew McIntyre attacked Cedric Alexander from the back and then hit him with that cool ass Alabama slam. That, if you remember, he did this before a couple times. He does it a lot, but that cool time he did it when they were assaulting uh Elias, but it's weird though because he's working with Elias still with Shane McMahon. So McIntyre's like just a crony for Shane McMahon on SmackDown, but he's one-on-one trying to beat the shit out of everybody on Raw. That's so weird. It's so inconsistent. And then we cut backstage after that brutal assault for the 24/7 championship to change hands off Pat Patterson, just awkwardly coming in after Drew Maverick got scared off by the boogeyman when his suitcase got filled up with worms and shit. And then just an awkward pin occurs, so it looks like they cut it off, so they could just have Pat Patterson lay down on Drake so he can pin him 1, 2, 3. It's a fun segment because obviously we haven't seen Pat Patterson for a few years now. And then we had the Viking Raiders do their crappy promo face off against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I don't know. People were complaining, oh, we've seen this before. Like, what the fuck? You saw this on main event? What was this on? It's a crappy squash match. I don't even know why Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are even being jobbed out. Weren't they former tag team champions? I thought they would have a dynamic. They would try to break up. Because Christian was on commentary, and I thought, oh, and then they're maybe going to have Edge show up. It's going to be a surprise entrance because everybody loves Edge. No! He didn't show up. I know, like, Christian doesn't have a history with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins because he wasn't part of the Edge heads or involved in the heel run for Edge for a majority of the career. Because when Christian came back in 2009, uh, Edge got that ACL injury and only was heel for the rest of that year until he returned back as a babyface 2010. And Christian was on Impact, so that'd be awkward, and I don't even know why they had Christian on commentary to barely sum up anything else. Except like try to hype up the Viking Raiders as being this tough crew, even though they barely even pinned a legit tag team yet. And then we have Maria just beat the shit out of Mike Kanellis emotionally. Eric Bischoff came, Eve Torres came, and I think Maria was trying to. I didn't care about the segment at all. I tried to block it off from my mind because like they have nothing for this. They don't develop much of a storyline. They just take up. They always try to add more legends. Like we're just gonna put a legend backstage segment, legend backstage segment, legend backstage segment. Nothing storyline wise. They try to do something for Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn, trying to tear down the legends and Raw's desperate ploy to build up the fans with nostalgia. And it was just a reason for you're hating, you're talking shit. I gotta beat you up in the ring. That was literally what summed up Sami Zayn and Rey Mysterio to fight, and that's what literally built up Roman Reigns and Rikishi to fight. But Samoa Joe is bringing up his family, like he does for nearly every wrestling feud now. Like Samoa Joe's not like I'm an intense, crazy son of a bitch. He never changes tights because I don't know why he doesn't change his ring gear. I've seen him in the last. I've been watching Impact since 2009. And Samoa Joe never changed his gear, except his hair, and that one time he had the stupid ass face tat. So it was just an awkward segment for just Ron Simmons to come out and say, "Damn, you need to control your bitch," and that was funny, I guess. And then we had Gerald Briscoe pin Pat Patterson off camera. He just came up and said, "Ha, how's it feel now?" Eh, And they just referenced the Stooge and shit, and it's like, why? This is not even this doesn't even have a reason to exist. This entire Raw reunion, I don't know if they do it because it's the suburb like notable for family reunions and shit. No, they just did it because they need a ratings sprint for people to watch the show, even though there are a few weeks until SummerSlam and they have nothing to build up. Rollins gonna face Lesnar again, 2 women's championships without that much build up, or tournament, or something. There's not even a major storyline except whatever kind of hassle it is to make Shane McMahon feel like the biggest heel in the company. Even though the McMahons are back controlling Monday Night Raw, even though they allowed GMs to run the place, they know that didn't work. So what's the worst thing? Instead of replacing them with GMs that can do their job, like Vicky Guerrero or John Laurinaitis, some people that are notable for being heels and actually getting authority around and making matches. What the fuck? We have to do this just for Shane McMahon to get more screen time. This is pointless. So yes, General Briscoe then immediately got the worst roll up in history against Kelly Kelly when she congratulated him off screen and then had this stupid pinfall roll up and just won the belt like just like that. That's sad. That's sad. Just for Kelly Kelly to be off screen is like you couldn't even kiss him or something and be like, "Congrats, that's a nice belt you got," because it's Kelly Kelly. You know, the woman that debuted doing strip teases back on the ECW, being the third brand of the show, and then immediately roll up just so we can have Kelly Kelly being 24/7 champion. That's awesome. Then we had Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns fight, and it's not because like an interesting storyline or anything. They said Samoa Joe just brung up like the fans like you guys are idiots because like you're masking your nostalgia. Then he brings up Rikishi and the family Roman Reigns. Roman comes out, tries to scare like Samoa Joe's supposed to be the threat. He does personal crap. He's obviously a vicious wrestler. So why does he still walk off Roman Reigns? Why not just attack him with a weapon or something? I'm learning nothing from this. This is not to build up much. And Samoa Joe just got out of a feud with Kofi Kingston. There has only been one rematch with Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and that was with Kevin Owens. No, Dolph Ziggler. For a steel cage match, that was the most boring match except the finish. and literally nothing else. No other rematches, no other legit storyline. It's either he has to win to prove everybody wrong, and that's it. You see why people don't want to watch the show, because you have a boring world champion that's supposed to be a lighthearted, goofy world champion. Like, that's ever going to work unless he has much of a more interesting character with him. And then we have Samoa Joe that's not like, I want my rematch at SummerSlam, except no holds barred, or a submission match, or something. He just fights Roman Reigns. Just like that. And you see why people don't want to watch the show that often. And then he just just loses. He's called a coward, gets a Superman punch, and they just fought. Just calling Samoa Joe a coward just triggered, like, I'm a coward. Most Samoas are cowards, and then they just started fighting. Just awkwardly transitioned. Then they just had a weird jump cut, and it was just terrible. I don't even know why they just had the match immediately. If you want to build this up as like he's insulting your family and crap, that's something for like a pay-per-view. He's not supposed to be an annoying heel. So Mojo been trying to be this threat for a long time. This is supposed to be like a former NXT champion and a former United States champion that he only held for like two 2 months till Rey Mysterio got off that stupid finish back on Money in the Bank, and then he just won it back because Rey Mysterio had a legit injury. Then Rollins had Miz TV, and they took it and they cut back into the segment with Paul Heyman and the way he won. It's like he's not a predicament. Blah blah blah. I'm a threat to Brock Lesnar. I am a threat to Brock Lesnar, and people are jealous about me and my ginger girlfriend's relationship. The person that's currently doing better than me. And people will try to make sense. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. People don't even bring up that he won the Royal Rumble. Like, that's not a good accolade. Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble 2000 and goddamn just a year ago, back in 2018. They don't bring up that Randy Orton's a two-time Royal Rumble winner, winning one in 2009 and 2017, just a previous year before Shinsuke Nakamura. So I don't understand why they're not taking that like that's a huge accolade. We already have like two-time Royal Rumble winners in the 2010s, and that's fucking John Cena and Randy Orton. Nobody even remembers Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus won their Royal Rumbles because one had a match opener against Edge for the World Heavyweight title, and the other one won it in under a minute. That kind of devalued how Daniel Bryan or Sheamus even had a storied career. And Rollins and then Paul Heyman came and tried to debunk Rollins' entire claim. Try to say, don't try to bitch about this, because you cashed in on Brock Lesnar back in WrestleMania 31 and pinned Roman for the world title, and it's like blah blah blah. Then you try to talk shit, then beat up on Paul Heyman like he's the biggest threat until Brock Lesnar occurs. Just so it's like, oh, I'm notable for attacking people with steel chairs all the time, saying burning it down is your best catchphrase ever, other than calling yourself the architect. And then speaking in the squeakily high voice, and you see why people weren't interested as you when you were WWE World Champion and Universal Champion, because other than having a faction behind you, and you with a steel chair paddling anybody you see, still not being a threat for anybody, because he has no character other than that, and he builds no charisma. Rollins is a good wrestler. I'm not going to doubt his ability. Everybody in the main roster have a reason for why they're looked up so globally, because of their physical abilities and their way they can conduct the crowd off their attacks. off their wrestling ability. But Jesus Christ, Rollins! Nearly every time I see you in the ring, it's going to be tope suicida, forearm, buckle bomb, curb stomp, tope suicida. A few times you're gonna get hit with a chair. It, it's just not that good. And Rollins is a good wrestler. I'm not going to say that Styles and Rollins match wasn't that bad at all. It was a really great match. But Rollins barely had a storyline into it. They just fought. That's a majority of Rollins' storylines. They just fought, other than his times when he literally faced off against his own Shield members, where they literally had a reason why Dean Ambrose and Rollins had a feud. Because literally Rollins was a traitor. So I don't get this. Why are you still trying to push Rollins as a favorite here when there's obviously more guys that deserve a championship opportunity, and then you just made it dual brand, so you obviously Rollins just feud so he can just feel like he deserves it or some shit. Then we had Candice Michelle pin Kelly out of nowhere with Maria looking bomb as shit and Candice Michelle looking thick as shit. I'm serious, folks. Watch the Raw reunion, not because of the show, because of the women. Candice Michelle looks bomb. Kelly still looks the fucking same. Melina, last time I saw her, like it was in a Wrestling Regret review, and I think she had blonde hair. Then she was with Naomi, that was there for no apparent reason. Caitlyn looks way better than she did back in 2013. And by God, what's with the female division? They're like, girl? It was the stupidest segment. It's like, I won a 24/7 championship. It's like, it's more important than winning the world title. I mean, the women's championship that you guys were fighting for the last several years. Then Alundra Blaze just came out of nowhere. Just celebrating with Kelly and just the first submission to ever get the 24/7 championship. And she won it, and she came and left with it. Well, at least we know that Alundra Blaze is still alive, or Medusa if you watch WCW from back then. Then Rey Mysterio defeated Sami Zayn. Then Sami Zayn faced Rey Mysterio because you can't disrespect your OGs, Holmes. It's like, come on. It's not that impressive at all. Just seeing like one half of the alumni there, and The Rock, Edge, Bubba Ray Dudley, Kane, The Undertaker can't show up because we obviously know there's a rating point. Plus, we saw Undertaker before a few months ago on a C-level pay-per-view. Come on. Am I supposed to be impressed? The show wasn't that good at all. And they had a decent match with Rey Mysterio. Sami Zayn was about to escape, and Rob Van Dam came. That was a decent pop. And then Kurt Angle came, and he came, orchestrated the match, just didn't even order it. He's not GM anymore. He was just like, we just settled this in the ring. Looked like fucking Dana White. Then the Hurricane came, and then Rikishi came again. Then as soon as Rey Mysterio hit the 619 and goddamn 5-star frog splash, it won the match. And just wow, this was just a segment where just like we're sort of legends. I don't even know where the Hurricane is here. Weren't you notable for just wrestling against Jamie Noble? And just they kept waving their arms like they did something. Rey Mysterio won a match. When Rey Mysterio is a more Hall of Famer than most of the guys on that ring ramp, that is depressing. Then we had Alundra Blaze come out with a trash can, obviously referencing what she did back in WCW when she first debuted. Then Ted DiBiase came and just asked her that I'll just buy it off you. And then he just went into the limousine. Everybody was like, just trying to use as much as they can to like feel like we're sort of relevant. Like Kurt Angle could have said It's damn true every damn week. Every damn sentence. Then Godfather came. He got interviewed for some apparent reason. Like, I'm not that nigga anymore. But it's time to get into the. Like, he didn't even get to say it because we're all PG and shit now. And we're gonna finish off with the 24/7 championship segment before we get into like the main events. With literally Drake Maverick getting to a limousine that Ted DiBiase was heading to and pinning him there. Then he won. Then R-Truth came out of nowhere, but his wife was still in the limousine. R-Truth pinned him and went to the limousine with his wife. Then the stupidest segment when he literally confused a scrawny blonde that's Carmella for her wife that has so much fucking cakes in the back. I didn't even know she was a wrestler for the WWE until I heard that she used to be in Contender and Tough Enough. I think she was also an NXT star. So that's a shocker. Weird. Every wrestler dates a wrestler or just is a wrestler. I what the fuck? Then AJ Styles faced off against Rollins and it ended off a false finish. I mean, the disqualification because the Legends came when they were going to play dirty and attack Rollins because they are the OCs, the original club. Come on, this was stupid. Just for a reason to make the club feel like fucking marks and try to too sweet. Literally, the guys who created the clique and that the fucking Bullet Club ripped off, just so they could feel like a more westernized NWO, like more current NWO back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it was literally popular because they ripped it off, except made a modern twist on it. And then they just added popular indie wrestlers, just for a reason for the club to still going. It's still going today. Like, people were talking, if you heard about the Bullet Club, like, back 2015 or 2013, 14, it's still going in 2019 in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's fucking weird. And then it just ended off with qualification of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson attacking Seth Rollins, and then Randy, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Mr. Asp, Billy Gunn, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall all coming in the ring that are slow as fuck, and they tried to grab chairs when they were already outnumbered. That is stupid. And I think one just hit him with the curb stomp. Then Rollins just grabbed the mic. And he's like, I got two words for ya! And that was literally the segment. Just for them to feel like heels. That's sad. And hopefully Rollins can actually be taken seriously. And literally have sex with Becky. Or have a set. No one's embarrassed about your relationship, and you're obviously not a main event talent. We did the same thing by Roman. We tried with Dean Ambrose, and now Moxley's doing way better in New Japan. Actually being a tough guy for once, built like a tough guy, and beating the shit out of people, and looking like a badass. While Rollins is literally a main event, won the Royal Rumble, was literally the match opener in WrestleMania, been holding the world title for a few months, and still didn't do anything with it. Thanks he wasn't in the storyline. He doesn't have much of a personality other than saying it burning down. That's been going on since 2017, and it caught on right now because it's the only chant Rollins can say. Because other than that, Rollins has no catchphrases other than burning it down. And just the segment was just a reason for like Triple H to be like, I fuck with him more than I fuck with AJ. He's too much of a good wrestler, and he's actually likable. Fuck you. And then Drake, as soon as Mick Foley trying to cut a promo into the ring, trying to bring back a segment when he won back the WWE title, WWF title, back in 2000, late 2000, like 1999. he got cut off and Bray Wyatt just pinned him. I mean, just hit him with the with Abigail's kiss. It was the best. Yeah, it was an alright segment. I don't think it was better than when Finn Balor got hit with Sister Abigail. So that was literally it. Then Becky Lynch was involved. There were a lot of segments in this one show, and only one of them were relevant. With Natalia literally assaulting Becky after bringing up most of the match, interrupting the show with her talking shit, and then later on backstage, she brought up that I was a pioneer for the women's division, even though you were there since the Divas Revolution and then the Divas division. So I don't know why this exists. She literally has no character. We tried flipping her heel to back the babyface, and it's like, why don't you use your literal namesake? You're literally the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. You are the fucking Hart Dynasty. You're one half of the Hart Dynasty's daughter, and you have no personality. You have no ego. She has no aggression. She's been literally doing this, and she literally feuded with Charlotte Flair and still got nothing to do with it. Now she's feuding with Becky Lynch, traded blows, and that was it. And we had Braun Strowman have a squash match, and that devalued Braun Strowman a lot because he's back to squash matches. Why is he doing squash matches again? Wasn't he supposed to be facing Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, and then they just squashed him? I don't know if he was in suspension for something or something else. I don't know why they did this. It was stupid. And then they did the toast on Raw. It's like, your family, your family, your family, your family. And then Hulk Hogan came up and said a few words for Ric Flair. They did their toast. Steve Austin cussed because obviously he wasn't prepared to do any like nice promo except like the nice comedy promo he did later in the show. I don't care. This show sucked. It was desperate. It didn't do nothing to pull anything interesting. So it gets a 3 out of 10. Hopefully, it gets better than this iteration of Raw. Thank you for watching.